Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the news briefing this Wednesday, October 8th. You've been hearing a lot in the news about federal changes, which impact local health care programs such as Medi-Cal. What are those changes and what can people expect? We're very pleased today to have Christina Barajas. She's with our County of Monterey Department of Social Services Department to walk us through what is happening now and what people should know. Hi, Christine. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. If you're ready, I can go ahead and present.
Yes, please.
All right, so I'll be sharing my screen. Just give me a moment. All right, just a moment.
All right.
All right, well, thank you for having me today. Again, my name is Christina Barajas. I'm a program manager for the Department of Social Services, and I'm here today to really talk about some of the impacts due to HR 1 and some state changes that would be impactful to our community for Medi-Cal. So I'm starting here with a quick kind of timeline, and then I'll go into some more detailed information, but just to give you kind of a snapshot of what's all the changes that are coming. In January of 2026, we have a reinstatement of our assets for Medi-Cal. We have a Medi-Cal expansion freeze that is happening, and we have a change for able-bodied adults. And I know this one is for CalFresh, but we do have a change in the CalFresh as well. We have in July 2026, we have Medi-Cal dental benefits that will be ending for adults with unsatisfactory immigration status. In January of 2027, we have a 6-month redeterminations that are going to be happening, retro Medi-Cal timeframes that will be reduced, and work and community engagement hours that will be required for Medi-Cal. In July, we have premiums for adult beneficiaries with unsatisfactory immigration status that will start. And then in October, we do have some co-pays for adult members over 100% of the federal poverty level, and these will range from $1 to $35. And so I want to start with really just giving some information of the current residents that we serve currently in our community for Medi-Cal. We have a total of 84,000, a little bit over 84,000 cases. Total members in the community, about 173,000, and information here about benefits that are issued to our community in just the 1 month. Same thing for CalFresh. We have total cases about 28,000 and total members 51,000. So I'll go into the impacts that are happening in 2026. So in January, as I mentioned, there's the Medi-Cal reinstatement of the asset test. And what that means and who it affects is going to be our older adults, 65 years or older, our disabled community, including those that would be in long-term care and over income for Magi Medi-Cal. So the limit was waived in 2025, and now it's going to be reinstated. And so it will be a little bit of a higher limit. So it's about 130,000 for one person, and then 65,000 after that for each additional member. The impact really is when the households are not able to provide the verification, then they will not be, their Medi-Cal will not be reinstated, they'll be discontinued, or if they're new applicants, then they would not be eligible until they provide that information and they meet this asset limit. In January of 2026, we also have the Medi-Cal expansion freeze, and who this impacts is our applicants who are over 19 years of age with unsatisfactory immigration status. So what will happen is after this date, so after January, individuals who are with an unsatisfactory immigration status, so our undocumented population, they will only be able to apply, they'll be able to apply, but they will only be eligible for emergency services and pregnancy-related services only. If they apply now, they can still get full scope Medi-Cal for if they apply now through December 31st. So this is something that we are looking to work with the community to really inform our community so that they can come in and not wait and apply now. We do have, and I just added this in here as far as some changes for CalFresh, and these are our CalFresh work requirements. The waiver ends for us for able-bodied adults without dependents. These are adults in the ages between 18 to 64. And basically what will happen is if you do not meet an exemption where like you're working for the community or you do not have uh, work for 80 hours a month, you will only be limited to 3 months of benefits for a 36-month period time frame, and that is for CalFresh. One of the changes for that is that it impacts our homeless community because in the past that would be an exemption. In July of 2026, we have Medi-Cal dental benefits that are ending for those that are 19 years of age with unsatisfactory immigration status. And they will be eligible for emergency dental care. However, and that will cover some of the things would be like extractions, but most of the regular dental care will be eliminated for those that fall into this criteria. In 2027, we have some changes where in January, we have Medi-Cal where they will be required to have a 6-month renewal. And basically what that means is they have to almost reapply or provide us with all of the information. This is going to impact all of the individuals that were under the ACA expansion, and they're from 19 to 64 years of age. And what the potential impact to this community would really be if they do not provide the information, then they would lose eligibility. And those who are with unsatisfactory immigration status, if when they come back to reapply, if there is a larger gap, they would then now only be eligible for those restricted benefits. So we want to encourage our community to turn in the information that they need to continue with their Medi-Cal benefits. In January of 2027, we also have the Medi-Cal reduction to retroactive coverage. And this applies to new applicants, and these are for adults that are are in the expansion from 19 to 54 years of age, and they will now only be able to apply for 1 month of retroactive period. So when they come in to apply, in the past, we would allow 3 months to go back 3 months so that they can potentially cover any of those bills that they might have had due to an emergency or just different things that come up. And now it will be reduced to 1 month for those individuals. All other applicants will be able to have a 2-month coverage if they request it. In January of 2027, we have some changes with work requirements for Medi-Cal. So those adults that were covered under the ACA expansion, these are adults with the 19 to 54 years of age and have no exemption. They will be required to have income that's over $580 a month. This equals to 80 hours of federal minimum wage. Have community service and work for a program 80 hours a month to continue to be eligible for Medi-Cal. In July of 2027, we also have a change for the Medi-Cal monthly premiums, and this will start for adults that are 19 to 54 years of age with unsatisfactory immigration status. So those individuals will have a premium of $30 a month to keep their full scope Medi-Cal. If this premium is not paid, the coverage reduces to what's considered just the emergency and pregnancy care only. So those individuals that we're trying to have apply now, they'll be able to get their benefits full scope for 1 full year, and then have later in July of 2027, we'll have this premium. And then the last change will really happen in 2028. and we are expecting in October the Medi-Cal expansion copays for adults that are earning over 100% of the federal poverty level. These are adults that are 19 to 64 years of age. They will be subject to a copay up to $35, and it'll just depend on the services that they will be receiving. It will not be anything for behavioral health that will be exempt. But we are anticipating that they will have a copay. And all of these changes, we continue to get information as far as exact, all the changes that will be implemented from the state as new information is coming up, but we wanted to let the community know of the changes. There is a question, and there's some I wanted to just kind of touch on this. There's some confusion about what is considered like federally funded Medi-Cal services and what's considered state funded. And so there's always going to be a component of federal funded services, and these are the emergency benefits and those for emergency and pregnancy related. So in California created a state funded program, and that covered the undocumented, and this was covered with state funds. The federal funding really is related to emergency and pregnancy related. So I just wanted to clarify that. And that's the last part of my presentation. Not sure if you want to allow for questions.
Yes, please. And thank you so much for walking us through this really complicated issue. There are a lot of changes in this program. What should people do if they are among your clients and have a lot of questions and concerns? What should people do?
So we're really asking everyone who has questions to come into our offices, whether it's to apply, to go try to get the information, right? They don't have to even come into our offices. We have a lot of different ways that customers can apply. They can call our 800 number so that they can ask any of these questions, get any information, whether it's about their benefits that they already have right now, or whether it's to apply. So we ask them to give us a call, contact us, and get the information, make the best decision for your family based off of all of what we know already.
And are you seeing people coming to you at this point with questions, or are you seeing a lot of our residents maybe have a little hesitation in reaching out? Because, I mean, you use the phrase unsatisfactory status, and that would include a lot of residents in this county who may currently be able to participate in these programs. How can we get them to feel comfortable to get the information that they need?
Our focus, we are working with our community-based organization partners in the community to get the information out to our community. Our focus is to provide all of the information that we know. We know there's changes. We know, there's also a lot of different programs for Medi-Cal as well, right? And every household is unique in terms of, there are some individuals that may be undocumented in the household, and there may be some individuals that are not. So we try to really, here's what you need to know for your family and what is going to impact you. We encourage, again, we're doing a lot of outreach, working with Central Coast Alliance, working with the health department, really trying to reach out to our community to really apply and really get the information out there for our community. But we also have seen some hesitation in the number of applications that have come in. We have seen about a 20% reduction overall every month of applicants. So we know that there is some hesitation. And so, we're trying to do our best with providing our resources and providing our phone numbers, letting them know that they don't have to come into our office. They can call us and we can provide the information.
And one last question, anecdotally, what are you hearing, or what is staff hearing from people who do call and do try to find out what's happening? Is there any particular area they're most concerned about?
I don't think there's anything like one specific thing that they're calling about. We really have seen um, there's families who are focused on what they're hearing in the media, and there is a lot of concern, but there's just a lot of uncertainty. Um, and so, you know, I think it's just the trust as far as, I'm not sure if that's kind of a factor, but we don't really get as many questions. We just have seen that reduction, but we don't get a lot of people calling in with questions.
Thank you. And then one other question for you. What are some of the organizations that you're working with for outreach?
So as I mentioned, we work really closely with, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the names of the individuals here, and I can provide that information. But we work really closely with Central Coast Alliance for Health, the health department, um, and I'd have to get back to you on the other names for the CBOs.
And also, I'm wondering if you might be able to talk a little bit about other outreach opportunities. There's a lot of discussion going on within the county about how to best get information to people who are hesitant to reach out to us. And I wondered if you might talk about some of the ideas that are being worked on.
So we are working on getting more like information out in the news or like television, audio, pamphlets that are available. We just to kind of circle back, we work closely with also Catholic Charities, CBDIO. Um, those are some of the ones that we work with a lot closely with, but we are working on getting information out there about all of the different CBOs that are available where they can go to one place, try to like really building that trust, letting them know this is really what's going on, creating that urgency, and really focusing on potentially going to like scheduling certain media times, like whether it's like in the telenovela times or things like that, where we can really get the information out there since it is a little limited now with only having 2 more months before they can really keep getting the full scope.
Christina, thank you so much for walking us through this. If any other questions come in, we'll definitely send them your way. I really appreciate this is a very complicated issue, and we really want people to get the information that they need.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. On to our next topic. If you are a woman who is considering a career in the trades, and by trades we mean what might be traditionally a men's trade career, there is an apprentice program starting this month that might give you a bit of a boost. More women are entering the trades, and if you aren't sure if this is the career for you, we've got Laura Kershner, our friend from Monterey County Works, here to talk about this apprentice program. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Maya. Thanks so much for having me. I'm not sure if my camera is on or not. I'm struggling with that, but there are
It is
more.
not.
It is not. Okay.
It is
Let me
not.
see if I can fix that. In any case, there are more and more women that are joining the trades. It's a rising trend in blue collar employment. A growing number of women are entering professions like construction, electrical work, plumbing, and manufacturing, redefining the traditional image of the American tradespeople. We've got, since 2023, about 1.3 million women have worked in the United States construction industry, 10.8% of the workforce, up from 9.3 in 2002. Women in construction and extraction roles in particular increased by 28.3% between 2018 and 2023, totaling about 363,000 women, 363,651 individuals across the United States. In manufacturing, women now hold about 8% of the shop floor blue collar roles, up from 2% just 2 decades ago. So it's really increasing. We think that's due to labor demand and the workforce shortages. Construction and skilled trades industries are facing a historic worker shortage. Projections suggest the U.S. could be short more than 2 million tradespeople by 2030. So that's a whopping number. And companies are increasingly recruiting women to fill the gap and to diversify their workforce. So as such, we are teaming up with the Tri-County Pre-Apprenticeship Training Program, partnership with the called LIUNA, Labor International Union of North America, for a 10-week, 350-hour training program, which starts as of October 20th. The deadline to apply is about a week before. Everything is listed on our website, and we have 14 to 18 openings if for folks that are interested in this type of training in the trades. So it's worthwhile to look into it. At the end of the program, what people are going to learn is how the construction industry works, how to use hand and power tools, basic skills in various trades, how to read a blueprint, how to use basic applied mathematics for construction. And then as a result of the training, they'll be able to secure the following certifications, including a safety certification, OSHA 30, HAZWOPER 24 safety certification, CPR and first aid, aerial lift and platform lift certifications, and multi-core craft curriculum certification national training program known as MC3. So folks are encouraged to apply today on our website, MontereyCountyWorks.com. It's all by application basis. Again, there's only 14 to 18 spots. So if this sounds like something up your alley, I encourage you to apply right away because there is a limited number, and happy to entertain any questions.
Laura, thank you so much. And I'm so sorry we can't see you today with your camera being off, but I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about those certifications. I mean, it's down the list of things that are you can get from this training program, but those certifications are really critical for people to actually work in the trades.
Yes, indeed. They are indeed. And it makes you eligible to be picked up by an apprenticeship training program because they're all going to ask if you have the HAZWOPER, if you have CPR and first aid. So this makes you eligible to do so. So we encourage anybody that's thinking about it. The trades have historically been good paying positions. They still are. A lot of people have, I think there's misperceptions about, oh, that's just working with your hands. So that can't possibly have any type of benefit, but that's completely false. More and more people are doing this. They're seeing it as an alternative to going hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt into college, which traditionally we're finding that probably 50% of the people aren't going to make it through college anyway. So if this is your if this is how you are geared, it's something that you should look at. You know, if you have a child that is not on the college track and you're pretty certain you know your kid, why not put them into something that could benefit them right off the bat? The tradespeople typically make a lot of money just coming right out of school, going into the trades, as opposed to going into college, where there's a huge dropout rate. I think there's a perception that we need to address here, and I think this generation, Gen Z, is actually addressing it.
Well, if you've ever called a plumber, you know that they're getting paid. And well-deserved paid for sure. Is this something when you have people coming in to the Monterey Works offices and taking advantage of a lot of the programs that you have there, do you get these questions from your young clients about, you know, should I go to college? If I went to college, what should I, you know, what would be the benefit versus doing something else?
You know, I couldn't answer that from my end because I don't see the job seekers in particular on my end, unless they're coming to the job fairs directly. But I know that that is something that the counselors in school are working with, and the counselors pretty much can identify who is on the college track. I think they pretty much have to put everybody on the college track. However, we know that 50% of those that are put on that track are not going to last even that first semester in school. So why not have an alternative? You know your child even better than the counselor does. You know, put them on a track that you know that they you know, slated for at least success that they could do. Some of us, you know, can be on the college track, and that's fine. That's how we're geared. However, there are others that are just not geared that way. So if you've got a youngster or young person, they work with their hands a lot. That's where their skill level is. That's where their interest is. That ought to be a clue. So, you know, think of it that way.
And can you give us the website again for people who'd like to, you know, take a look at the information about the program and apply?
Yes, ma'am. MontereyCountyWorks.com, MontereyCountyWorks.com. It is in the slider at the bottom of the page. They must apply in order to participate in the program, and they must apply through the website.
Laura, thank you so much for being here and sharing about this program. Another terrific program from you.
Most certainly. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And last but absolutely not least, we all know that the Monterey County area is a technology innovation hub, but there is an event coming up next month at Camp Robert that really goes to the core of that. And Laura, go ahead and mute yourself. Yeah, there you go. This event gives innovators and developers, both large and small, the chance to showcase prototypes that they might have and get feedback from the Department of Defense. We are going to find out about this Naval Postgraduate School Joint Interagency Field Experimentation event from Morgan Bauer. He's a program manager with FLEETWERX. Morgan, thank you so much for being here and talking about this really interesting field event that I'll bet you a lot of people don't know about, and it's really cool.
Yeah, thank you, Maya. I appreciate the warm introduction. And that is how you know it is a legitimate military event, is it has a really long and hard to pronounce acronym that I will probably not reference in the future. I should now be sharing my screen, so that should be up for everybody.
We got you.
So the Naval Postgraduate School Joint Interagency Field Experimentation Exercise, affectionately known as JIFX, takes place quarterly at Camp Roberts, so down in South County. And the next event is scheduled for 3 to 7 November. Now, the first question you may be asking is, you said it's the Naval Postgraduate School JIFX, but you are someone from FLEETWERX. Why are you briefing us about this? So FLEETWERX is a DefenseWorks innovation hub. We are partnered with the Naval Postgraduate School, and our mission is to help them interact with both local and national industry, taking technologies NPS develops, helping industry commercialize those, taking technologies that industry and small businesses develop, and helping NPS bring those into the fleet and force. So as part of that, JIFX is really a foundational part of our effort to expand the number of high-wage jobs and high-technology businesses in the region, because it's a very unique opportunity to work with the Naval Postgraduate School and to get that feedback from DoD personnel. So what is JIFX? It's a experimentation and collaboration event that takes place quarterly down in South County. It is an opportunity for innovators, especially small businesses, to come out, take their technology, experiment, try it, push it to its limits, push it beyond its limits till it breaks. A lot of events and demonstrations bill themselves as fail-friendly. A lot of folks say that, very few folks actually are. I would say JIFX is almost fail mandatory. They want you to take your technology and push it to the point where it breaks and beyond that point, because that's when you're going to learn a lot of new things. And it's an opportunity for universities, students, even high school students who have cool new ideas or inventions to work with both the military and with industry at what they bill as the Burning Man of defense tech, which should give you some indication in the overall cultural approach to how they do the experimentation and how folks work together down there. But it's equally important to know what JIFX is not, and it's not a trade show or a conference. It's not an opportunity to set up a booth and get in front of acquisition people and pitch your product to be bought by the military. It's much more technology experimentation focused, helping folks advance their technology that they have onto the point where they can then go to those kind of events. So why should you care? First of all, JIFX is free. Hard to beat that price tag. Second, it's local, down at Camp Roberts. It's, hour and a half, hour 45 minutes for most folks. Shorter for you if you are in the Salinas Valley. So it is pretty close, and it's free, and it is easy to get on and off. All you need to do is register online at the link that I will be showing on the slide after this slide. I would say probably about 95 to 99% of people who sign up get approved if they're observing. For folks who are experimenting, it's a little bit less and a little bit longer, just because, you know, if you're shooting lasers or flying drones or radiating on federal property, they generally like you to fill out a couple forms and make sure you know what you're doing. So easy to observe, still fairly easy to experiment, but a few more hoops to jump through. Also, if you have a technology, whether it's software, hardware, pretty much anything we deal with these days has some cyber and radio wave frequency component to it. You know, even your fridge is wired onto the internet these days. They have a program, the Joint Vulnerability Assessment Branch, that comes to these events and kind of sees where your technology might be vulnerable to cyber attacks or radio jamming, and they deliver you a report to help you make sure that your technology is secure and safe. So these days, it's ever increasing amounts of cybercrime, ransomware, all of that kind of stuff. It's an almost unmatched free opportunity to get ahead of the curve on securing your technology. It's also an opportunity both to iterate on your technology, help mature it. There's very few events where you're going to be able to go every 3 months and try out a new design, try out something that you've added onto your technology and see how it works in the field. And it also is an opportunity for growth and acquisition acceleration for participants. I think over the history of JIFX, somewhere around 25 different technologists were acquired by a larger company after participating, with somewhere around $10 billion in acquisitions coming out of that. It's also a great opportunity to collaborate with other industry folks, collaborate with Department of Defense customers, and to collaborate with other inventors who may have cool ideas. You know, if you're a mad scientist, this is a great place to meet other mad scientists. And finally, it's a cool event. I mean, if you're someone who missed the air show and you want to come out and see some wild technology, it's a great opportunity to come out there, observe, and see what people are working on. So the next event is 3 to 7 November. If you're going to be experimenting, those signups are largely closed for right now. But if you'd like to come down and observe, maybe you're planning on experimenting at a future event, or you just want to see some technology in action, those opportunities are still open. We will likely be taking registrations until around 24 October. But I would highly encourage that you get a registration in sooner than that. With the government shutdown right now, it's going to take a little bit longer to process things. So if you're interested in attending, the sooner you sign up, the better, and the better your odds are of actually being able to make it there. I have put the website for you to register on this slide. And if you are interested in attending, but you have questions, feel free to email info@fleetwerx.org. That's FLEETWERX.org. And I would be happy to answer any of your questions. With that, that concludes my slides. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, first, thank you for walking through how cool this program really is and really giving people a feel for what they can expect. Could you just confirm something that you said earlier? You said 25 technologists were acquired through this event. And do you mean that their prototype was picked up, they sold their idea? What does that mean?
I mean, it's fairly large companies that you might have heard of in the technology space that have attended and then subsequently been acquired by another larger company. That statistic doesn't include the folks who kept on producing their product and now have gotten contracts and stuff based on their participation. That's just folks like Tableau, Splunk, who have iterated on their product, and it's led to them doing a deal with another industry participant or just larger industry player. And their acquisition was enabled by some of the iteration that they did at JIFX.
So there is a great success rate, and if anybody has something that they're working on, this is a really great place to be seen. What type of innovations and prototypes are the mad scientists bringing down to Camp Roberts?
I would say this year we're a little bit smaller just because of the shutdown and some issues associated with that, but we have several unmanned aerial vehicles that will be flying around, along with a few different directed energy laser systems that are trying to shoot down those kind of systems. And then also 3D printers that are hoping to take those destroyed drones, shred them, print them out, and then create new drones out of it. So almost an entire ecosystem around there, in addition to a lot of software-oriented solutions, things to help systems navigate in areas where there's no GPS, or to navigate in new and novel situations on the water, on the land, stuff like that. And there's always a large data component where people are taking in all the data from all these systems, trying to organize it and send it back out to other participants and create that real network effect.
So then if that's a description kind of what's coming, what would you recommend to people who are thinking, gosh, should I take part in this? Who should participate? If they've got something they're working on, what would, if you were trying to appeal to people who are mad scientists, what would you tell them if they've got what to bring?
Well, I would say, first of all, this is a great opportunity to come down to 26-1 and just kind of see what it's about. You don't have to come for the entire time. You can pop in for one day, observe, see how things are done, see if it's something that appeals to you. But in general, I would say if you're somebody who has a technology that's at the point where you can take it out and play around with it a little bit, not so much just a basic concept where I'm still working on it in the lab, but something where, I need to take this out and see how it actually does in the real world. I need to take it down to Camp Roberts in the summertime when it's 105 degrees down there and see if it actually does fly in the heat. That is the kind of experiment that's perfect for JIFX.
And also for people who are observing, I can definitely see where people who are into technology would be down there looking at what's available. But what about people who might want to go into the field of these technology fields? Is this a good way to get a feel for what is happening in the industry?
Yeah, that is a great question, Maya. Thank you. It is a wonderful opportunity to see small and growing small businesses who are really pushing that bleeding edge of innovation. So you not only see like these new and exciting technologies, but you see folks who are looking to grow, looking to build. So it's an excellent opportunity to meet with some folks who can maybe share and shape your interests and what fields you might be looking at as you complete your education or start your training, that kind of stuff.
Morgan, thank you so much for walking us through this. That was the last of my questions. If we do get additional questions, we'll forward them to you. Really fantastic event, and we hope you get a great turnout for all the mad scientists, and we want to see photos.
Thank you, Maya.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week, and we'll see you then.